Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. Today I'm talking about how to move on. 6 ways to letting go of someone you love. Okay, so firstly, let's just discuss why it's really difficult to let go of someone. Okay, so the first one is that sometimes when we break up with someone and we still want them back, and we find it really difficult to move on, is because we have a scarcity mindset, right? And the scarcity mindset is where you believe or you think a lot about the fact that, I'm never gonna find anyone as good as my ex. I'm never gonna find anyone as good as them. Or it could be you just simply don't want to, right? You get sick and tired of searching for finding love, and perhaps you feel a bit jaded, right? But the thing is with the scarcity mindset is that there are plenty of people out in the world, right? And when I broke up with my first girlfriend, I thought the same way as a lot of people do. That is, I'm never going to find anyone as good looking as my ex. I'm never going to find anyone who's going to love me as much as my ex, right? I had all these thoughts and feelings about that. Like, oh yeah, that's it. That's it for me. That was the best it's ever going to get. But I was really, really wrong about that. I was so wrong about that. I can't even believe it, right? Because when I met my wife, the whole dynamic changed. I really didn't realize that someone could really love me more than my ex. And when my wife did, it really blew my mind. And the fact that I believe that she's way more beautiful than my ex as well. I didn't think I would ever get a woman as good as my ex, even though my ex didn't actually treat me that nicely because she cheated on me. So when I met my wife, my whole paradigm changed. It was like, it's kind of like, it opened up a new reality. It's kind of like the Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, where Lucy goes through the wardrobe and she finds a magical land. You know, I thought my life was, that relationship kind of created the outside of the wardrobe effect, right? That, this is what it is. This is what reality is. And then I go through the wardrobe, I meet my wife, and it's a whole new reality. I didn't realize someone could love me that much, right? Maybe that has something more to do with me and kind of like how I felt about myself, maybe. Had a bit of a troubled childhood. Had lots of low self-esteem because of that troubled childhood. And I think if you have a troubled childhood, then I think it can affect how you feel like you deserve love and that sort of thing. But what I'm trying to say here is that there is going to be someone out there for you that is better looking than your ex, that will treat you better than your ex, that will love you more than your ex. I know that for a fact, okay? All you got to do is keep on dating until you find that person. Get it out of your head that there's a scarcity of decent men or women out there, because there isn't. There's plenty. There really is plenty, okay? And all you got to do is you got to keep on dating until you find that person who you really click with, who you really like, and they really like you back. And you know, it may take 10 dates to find that person. It may take 20. It may take 200. But as long as you're persistent and you keep on going, you will find that person. Now, I'm not saying you should sleep with all of these people, but because what I recommend people do when they go out on dates is to first just meet up for a drink. Okay, so if you don't like the person, you can easily leave, right? And if you do like the person, and it seems that you two are really getting along, then you can extend the date. You can go somewhere else for a meal. You can go and do some window shopping, or you can go for a little walk around a park or something. You can easily extend the date. But if it's just a drink, then you can easily leave if you don't like it, if you don't like the person, okay? So you may have to do that 10 times before you find someone that you really like and they really like you. It may take more than that. But the point is that you're persistent. And if you're persistent, eventually you will find someone who just thinks you're the bee's knees. That is just, it's very logical, because basically it's like a probability game. Dating is a probability game, right? The more people you meet and go on a date with and talk to, the more likely you're going to find that one person who is actually going to be really good for you, that really, really loves you, thinks that that you're the bee's knees, that you're the best thing since sliced bread. if you keep on going on enough dates, you will find someone like that and who you feel the same way too. Okay? So another reason why it's difficult to let go is the fear of the unfamiliar. Right? Some people will get scared of, going out into, because let's say you've been in a relationship for 10 years. The dating game now is probably a lot different than it was 10 years ago. Right? So it's going in, using these strange, unusual dating apps, things like that. Figuring out how, these, because if you haven't dated in a while, then you've probably got to relearn some things. And I highly recommend looking at my recommended dating and relationship books, and you'll be able to find those in the description of this video. 5 of those books are dating and relationship ones. Another 5 of them are to do with personal success and self-help. But those are my recommended books. You don't have to purchase them through that link, because obviously if you do, I'll get a small commission. You can just write down the titles, go to your local library, check them out, or go and find cheap secondhand versions somewhere else. Okay. So fear of the unfamiliar is another one. Meeting new people. That's another reason why a lot of people don't want to find anyone new, why they stay stuck. Another reason why they find it difficult to let go is conditioned habits over time. So what that means is you are stuck in a loop, and you're stuck, you can't get over the person because you're stuck doing these old habits. For example, you might reread old messages, overanalyze old messages that they sent you, looking through old photos, listening to a playlist that reminds you of them, listening to sad romantic songs that make you miss them, those sorts of things. Right? If you do those sorts of things, that's keeping you stuck, and it's preventing you from moving on. Right? If you, like checking their social media profiles as well, is another one that can prevent you from doing that. Becoming obsessed with their life now that they're not in your life. That's going to prevent you from moving on. Let's get into how you can move on and let go. These 6 ways of letting go of someone you love. Okay? So the first thing to help you move on and let go is you need to give yourself time. You need to give yourself plenty of time, especially if this was someone that you was deeply, deeply in love with, and you still feel really heartbroken over the whole experience, right? The whole breakup. If you still feel really bad about it, and it's still prominent in your head, then you need time. You got to give yourself time, right? Before you start dating someone new. And I always say to people, 6 months minimum before you start dating someone else. Give yourself at least 6 months. But if it was a longer relationship, let's say someone let's say you were married and you were together for like 10 years or 20 years, then you might need a year to 2 years to get over it and to give yourself time. Okay? Doesn't mean you can't, date and experiment during that time, but don't get into something committed because you're still getting over it. Okay? So another thing that can help you move on and let go is to do things that empower you. Okay? Not disempower you. Because often, when we go through a breakup, we do things that are destructive. Like we go out and drink or eat too much. We spend too much time indoors, kind of festering away, spending too much time on the internet, listening to sad songs. And even though those kinds of things feel good in the moment, they're not good in the long run. Okay? So doing things that empower you rather than disempower you. So things that empower you might be having a workout, exercising. That can make you feel good about yourself, right? Working on a project that's important to you, that can help. Creating some goals for yourself, that can help. And then making progress on those goals. So, you can, see your life going to where you actually want it to be. Creating a plan for your life. Where do you want to be in 5 years' time? Figure out where you want to be. What kind of house do you want? What kind of car do you want to be driving? What kind of friendships do you want to have? What kind of relationship would you like to have? How much money do you want to be making? What kind of job are you in? Figuring out those things, how you'd ideally love it to be in 5 years' time, and then you start working towards that. Right? Start taking progress on it every day. Okay? But don't do things that are destructive for you. Obviously, it's okay to sometimes have a little splurge, but don't let it be most of the time. Right? Don't be wasting too much of it, because time is not the most precious commodity that we have, because it's limited for us human beings. We don't have much of it. So you've got to use it wisely. And if you start spending it in different ways that are not good for you, you're not going to feel good about yourself. Right? Especially if you're wasting it playing video games, watching too much Netflix, eating junk, partying too hard, doing things that are really destructive. You don't want to be doing that to yourself. It's okay to do it sometimes, just not all the time, okay? Obviously, therapy and counselling can help. That's another way that can help you move on and let go, especially if you're really struggling. If you're really struggling to let go, then I highly recommend that you find some therapy, so go to some counselling if you can obviously afford it. If you're in the UK, you might be able to find a free service that can give you some counselling and therapy. Just sort of look around. I'm sure you'll be able to find something. There might be something in your area that can help you with that. I'm not sure about other parts of the world, but in the UK, you definitely can get free therapy on the NHS, especially if you explain to your GP the struggles that you're going through. They might be able to sign you up to something, right? So another way that can help you move on and let go is avoiding old habits that keep you stuck. So I kind of discussed that a little bit as to why sometimes it's hard to let go of someone. So like if you're overanalyzing old messages they sent you, if you're looking through old photos of them, if you keep on checking their social media, you keep on refreshing their timeline on Facebook or something, they're listening to sad music that reminds you of them, that's all going to keep you back at square one. It's going to keep you stuck, right? So you want to avoid doing things like that. If it helps your sanity, block them. Right? If it helps your sanity, remove those songs from your phone. If it helps your sanity, do all that you can basically to stop you from keeping you stuck. Delete those old messages, okay, that you keep on overanalyzing. So do what's best for your sanity, block them, okay? So that leads into the fifth point, which is do what is best for you and do what is best for your sanity, okay? So block them if you need to. And the sixth way to help you move on and let go of someone you love is if you can't avoid them, make time with them short and to the point. Because I know there's some people out there that are like, I can't avoid my ex. I can't get over my ex. I see them every day. I have to go and pick up the kids, or I have to see them at work, or I need to see them at school. Then if you do have to talk with them, keep it short, keep it businesslike and to the point. You want to detach, okay? Because some people, when they are talking to their ex because they can't avoid them, they're always engaging with them, trying to keep the conversation going for much longer because they want their ex they want to start having a conversation with them that can maybe help change their mind about them. Like, that's sometimes what some people do. They keep on talking to their ex in these certain situations they can't escape them from because they're hoping that one day their ex is going to change their mind, right? So instead, change that. Right, don't do that anymore. If you do speak to your ex, make it businesslike. If it's something to do with the kids, make it, very businesslike. Don't talk to them about how they are, how they're doing, what you're up to this weekend. Don't do that unless they ask you. Right? Let them initiate those sorts of things. Okay? So if you do have to see your ex, if you do have to speak to them, then speak to them in a professional, businesslike manner. Don't be cold. Don't be mean to them. You don't have to do that. But just speak to them as if you are doing a transaction with them, as if you're business partners in a way, right? Speak to them like that. And that should give you a good overview on how you can let go of your ex, right? And start moving on for them. Start moving past, that relationship, okay? So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.